It's kind of twisting your face.
Right.
I'll just
Bring all to front. Is that it? No.
why does your face still look like that?
I don't know.
Now you're on. That's
I'm
creepy.
here. I'm not.
Oh. This is all being recorded too. I keep forgetting. All right, we'll stop playing with backgrounds.
Hi, Luther. Hi, Meg.
Hey, Art.
How are you?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
You're
Enough.
well. Well, how are you doing?
Doing all right. Crazy busy. I take on way too many projects with too tight of deadlines.
I wouldn't know anything about that, Art. I started clearing for our project. So
How's that going?
You know, where we're going, it's a lot. Well, we walked it. It's that section of relatively new growth with a lot of poplar and alder and aspen and junk, just like little junky trees, you know.
Yeah.
So, but like once those poplar get a little bit big, man, they put big roots in the ground.
Yeah.
They put really big roots in. So
Yeah.
they're worse to pull than oaks are. Like
they go everywhere.
They take a lot of pulling. So I'm actually I ended up just bringing in a small mini, just like a 10-ton mini.
Yeah.
And I'm actually just kind of working my way through. I've got a thumb and I basically just everything, 5-6 inches, I can just reach out and grab the thing and just pull the tree roots and all.
Nice.
And I just line up a bunch of them and then run through with the saw, clip the roots off. Anything worth taking a section of firewood out of, I take a section out of, and then I bunch them up with the excavator, drag them over and run them through the chipper.
Nice. That works.
So it's slow because it's just me. If it was a 3-man crew, you could probably do an acre a day because it's small trees.
Right.
But with just me, it's slow going.
Yeah.
And, I can take something, 10, 12 inches without a lot of trouble. I just pop a couple roots and push the thing over, let the tree do the work of pulling the roots for you.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in that. It's so much faster to stump a tree while it's still hooked to the stump than cutting it off and coming back after the fact.
Leverage is your friend.
Oh yeah. You get a ton of tree pulling roots for you. It works really good.
What are you doing?
That's better. Shut
this off.
Try to get my lighting right.
Oh, there you go. So, yeah, so I'm whittling away at that.
Good.
I have a big pile of stumps.
You gonna grind those? Get them.
Yeah, we'll have some come in with a tub grinder and grind them all on site, and then find something to use that for. and had a meeting with NRCS today. They came out to look at some surface water erosion we're getting from the water coming across the road into the horse paddocks. And then just some, we've got 2 of the town culverts that discharge right above the horse paddocks.
Yep.
And they're a problem. And so they think they have funding they can apply to get us some drainage in place to capture all that water from the town and deal with it.
So it's interesting that it's just us guys here. Wonder how many people got confused by the 2 emails.
Oh.
You are.
Okay.
I'll send Doug a text. Doug's trying to get, there's Doug.
All right.
And there's Nick.
All right.
Hi, Art. Can you hear me?
I can, Doug. How are you?
Tired, hurt. It's been a long week.
They just keep getting longer, don't they?
Yeah.
The days are shorter, but somehow the weeks are longer.
It was a long week by Tuesday night.
Agreed.
And then yesterday got worse. I stepped in the wrong direction trying to load the cow, and now my ankle is the size of a softball.
Ouch.
Oh, no.
Not useful.
But it's over. We can relax.
Yeah.
Is it just the 5 of us?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Joe Murphy called, said he was coming. I just texted him.
Yeah.
I heard from Paul Varga, and he said he was at a Board of Finance meeting.
I haven't seen Bethany in a while to ask her, but
Yeah, I don't think she's been at the last couple meetings.
Yeah, she hasn't. And Mike Sabiga said he was gonna be hunting last month, but he'd be here for this one. I haven't heard, and I was hoping he'd be here. So I don't know if people are confused by the wrong agenda I sent. We'll wait a couple more minutes.
Well, the time is the same. You just changed up what's on the agenda.
Well,
it could be different.
The problem is the Zoom link was different in the first one.
Oh.
When I attached the agenda to the email, I grabbed the wrong one. So it had an old Zoom link in it, which isn't going to work. So that's why I had to send the second one out that had the proper Zoom link. Just send this message to Mike.
Hey, Nick, that skull behind you, did you do that or did you get it that way?
No, I got that way. I used to collect skulls when I was a child. I got rid of most of my collection except for a few really nice pieces.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Devon we took to Stafford yesterday, the skull is now in our greenhouse. We're working on trying to get everything off of it so we could
Very
turn
nice.
it into that.
Very nice. If you're looking for someone to help with, I've for my lamb and goats, I've used 3 Arrow taxidermy up in Mass.
Okay.
He does real nice work.
We have a friend of ours that used to board with us, Doug. She used to stack hay with us. Do you remember Katie? Real small Katie?
I think so, yeah.
She does quite a bit of taxidermy, really epic stuff. It's
She
kind of a
only really does
hobby.
birds though.
Well, but she
Yeah, she
probably
might-
knows
yeah.
some stuff. But yeah, she
birds
does.
are her specialty.
That's her specialty. But she does she's pretty knowledgeable.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
She's
good at
really
it.
into it. She goes to shows and competitions now and everything.
Do you know if she has a bug colony?
I don't know actually if
For
she has
painting?
the bug colony
Okay.
for painting. I know.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem at this time of year because it's cold.
I
Yeah.
fabricated a mount for her for a peacock that she just did. That came out pretty epic.
3 hours for my average skulls are about $85, and he's got a full colony.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I'm sure for bigger stuff he'd charge more, but he was super reasonable.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, Ginger's got a process that our friend Josh uses. So she spent today skinning it and cutting everything off. And now it's in a bucket of water because there's no flies. But the water trough heater I bought for the cows doesn't work. So I got to go return it tomorrow and get a new one. We're going to use that to heat the water up. Because you have the trough with the heater, Luther.
Because you need more projects, Doug.
This is her project, not mine.
Who's going to get the water heater?
I am because I got to go to DMV.
So Joe, did the text help you figure out, or were you having trouble logging in?
Zoom just had to do an update, so it took forever.
All right. So it's 7:37. We'll get started. Let's see. We have myself as a member, Doug as a member, and Luther as a member. So we will seat Meg and Nick for Paul and Mike. Paul said if he gets out of the Board of Finance meeting early, he'll pop in, but we'll see if he gets here on time. So call to order at 7:37, seated alternates, approve minutes, no secretary. Hear from the public. Anyone from the public who would like to speak? Joe, you're the only one. Nothing to say yet? Okay. Communications, I have had none. Old business membership, moving right along. So in the membership update, Sherry has, she resigned from the commission. So we were able to, short story there is, since COVID, Sherry and I have been reassessing everything that we do. And we are focusing and picking and choosing certain things. So we have both come to the conclusion that it was time to move along. So almost 13 years, that's not bad. So, so that's Sherry's short story. We were able to, in her timely resignation, we were able to quickly move and get Luther and welcome Luther back on as a member, taking Sherry's spot. And it was a fairly, you guys got the email that explained everything. And, you know, please feel free whenever something like that goes around that we're going to be speaking in front of doing anything in front of the Board of Selectmen. The more members that show, you don't have to say anything, just log in or show up and strengthen numbers. They always like to see that everybody's interested in the agriculture community. So
that was a rough night to just even sit with Zoom on in the background, though. Art and I both sat for, I mean, that was close to 2 hours before they got to us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
But from the length of the agenda, it could have been much longer.
Yeah.
It's always the boards and commissions appointments and stuff is always the end of the agenda. So of the Board of Selectmen. So, I might at the next Board of Selectmen meeting actually mention to them that it would be respectful to the other boards and commissions in town if they moved that up to first article of business so that they didn't tie those people up all night waiting for those appointments. They have the section at the front for boards and commissions to speak or do anything.
Right, but so, like you said,
it's kind of split in half.
Yeah.
So
yeah, put it right under that. Hear from boards and commissions, and commissions.
Do it all at once.
Yeah.
True. So
Bart, while we're on membership,
yes,
it looks like the website still was never updated from earlier this year when we updated the membership.
So Cheryl Baker has left, and I believe that was her thing.
Okay.
So it might be prudent to send an email or something. Actually, we should get an updated list, and you got a few more changes coming up. So once that's updated and more current, a list with email contacts and addresses and all that information should go to the Board of Selectmen and to the town clerk's office, so they have that. And then once they have that, they'll probably update the website. So
okay.
But that is something should be thought of being done. So that takes care of the membership part. I will we'll drag Joe in here now. Joe and I had a conversation earlier, and Joe has mentioned he's interested in maybe filling a slot should one come up. And I told him his call was perfectly well timed. So there will be an open slot. So
be more than happy to press him into service.
Yeah. So thank you, Joe.
Yes.
Thank you, Joe.
It's a relatively simple process. In front of the commission makes a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen that you fill the vacant position, and they'll say yes or no, and they most always say yes. So
okay.
So that's pretty simple. And when that gets on the Board of Selectmen's agenda, you might want to go just so they can put a face with a name. And
yeah, I can do that.
And Board of Selectmen is now doing hybrid meetings. They're doing open to the public in-person meetings with Zoom option.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I zoomed in. It was a little difficult to hear because I don't know what they're using for a camera and microphone. I don't know if it's just a cell phone set on a table or something. It sure seemed like it. But we were able to keep up. I was remiss. I need to go back. Nick, I did get your email, and I think that's your thing you wanted to talk about is an important thing to talk about under the roundtable section of the
That's where
agenda.
I figured I would bring it back up. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So, Bart, I'm going through my notes from earlier this year, trying to recall, pardon me, who are all the members?
So right now, the members are me, you, Luther,
Paul and Mike.
and Paul Varga.
And Mike Zabega, right? He's still
Mike Zabiga. Yep, that's
right,
5.
Mike.
Yeah.
And the alternates are Meg and Nick.
Meg, Nick, and Bethany.
That's
I don't
right.
know.
Knowlton. Yeah.
Bethany and alternate. She is. Yeah. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
All right.
Nothing back from Mike Sabiga, so I don't know if he doesn't. I think he may be resigning soon. If he hasn't already. I haven't heard anything, but yeah. So let's see. So that was that. So new business, election of officers. So we had a motion, a nomination from the floor by Nick at the last meeting to nominate Luther for chairman. And there was some discussion about Doug as vice chairman. Is that still, do we need to make that nomination again, or do we need to make something different? Luther, are you still in?
Yeah, I'm happy to take on that role for now, Art, as long as I can ping you periodically on your cell phone to ask questions when I'm screwing something up.
All right. I'm yelling at the cat. I'm not yelling at you, Luther. So, yes. So, yeah, I wanted to say, and I'll get to that later, but I'm not going anywhere. And I really do hope that my cell phone is ringing and dinging and people are stopping over to chat and talk and ask questions and pick my brain. I'll be coming to the meetings and I'm not disappearing. We're not moving. We're only selling the place if we get an offer we can't refuse. So just like everybody else here, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, I'd be happy to fill that role. Yeah.
Okay. So Doug, I didn't want to put you on the spot when you stopped by the other day. So, but I'll do it now.
He'll put you on the spot here instead.
Yeah, you wanted to wait until there was an audience for it.
Yeah, really.
Well, it was a social get together, and they want to mix business with pleasure. Plus, he was buying syrup. I didn't want to ruin the sale.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that, Art.
Okay, so you just know that it's not, I hung in there for a long time, but just know that what you're supposed to do is have annual elections in January. And yes. And so, you could even do it again if you guys are sick of it in a month, do it again, right? So, but anyway, so I need a nomination from the floor of one of our seated members to nominate Luther as chairman and Doug Jenny as vice chairman.
I'll do that nomination.
So so that's Nick, a second?
Nick.
I'll second that.
Meg seconds it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. You can vote for yourself, guys.
Yep, I said aye.
All right. So the slate of candidates has passed. So now we just need to decide when is do we want that to start immediately upon adjournment of the meeting tonight? Do we want it to start right at this moment and let our new chairman and vice chairman finish the meeting? What's everybody's thoughts?
So probably for just documentation's sake, for getting everything right, it's probably best if it is effective upon notification to Board of Selectmen and town clerk or something like that, right? That do we have to issue notice, or is it just simply a matter of internal housekeeping and it can just be part of the minutes?
Well, what we do here with chairman and vice chairman, that's here. Membership goes through the Board of Selectmen. So
why don't we say effective tomorrow?
Okay. Effective
November 18th.
Yeah. Effective. And I will email. I will do minutes for this meeting because this is important, and I will do the minutes to the and they're going to be easy. So,
Art, I'm happy to send you my random scribbly notes that I did last time too, if that helps you.
Yeah, you sent them to me last time, didn't you?
Yeah. I'm doing the same.
You were clear that you weren't volunteering.
No, but I take the same notes for myself. It just not spell checked.
So you can send notes
you,
from
I'll
tonight. That would help, and I'll get those right in. And so effective 11/18/22.
Yep, Friday.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I have to tell you, it's not all that much work. It's not, and the learning curve is huge. The early years, I had a tremendous amount of fun. We were always doing something. We did all those zoning regulations, and it was, and so hopefully with some renewed energy, we get back on that horse again and get the tax abatements that we got started on. You can pick those back up, and whatever else comes along. Maybe even a right to farm ordinance. We got to keep our eye on all the noise ordinances they're talking about and things like that.
And nuisance they're talking about now too.
Yep. And it's always, and it has nothing to do with farms, but we have to remember, and you'll learn this, that unless the language is clear, these regulations, ordinances, laws, statutes can be applied across the board. And, if a noise ordinance or a nuisance ordinance doesn't strictly leave agriculture out, then if you're haying at 4 a.m. or whatever, spreading manure, you could get called out on it. So that's the kind of stuff you're going to learn, Joe, right? So did you get my text about the cost of community services? Yeah. Okay, good. So having said all that, roundtable number 8, Nick.
Yeah. I'm not sure how everybody else feels, but I would wonder, are people interested in moving back to in-person or some version of hybrid? I feel like we got a lot more done, even if it was just social gathering before and after the official meeting. But I feel like we were just a lot more productive in person than we have been through Zoom. What are other people's opinions on actually meeting up at this point?
Absolutely.
It's possible, but I don't know how it works. I don't know, Luther, do you know?
So I'm torn, honestly. And the only reason I say torn, I love the idea of in person. I think that things like this, where we're trying to brainstorm and be collaborative, it's easier to feed off each other's creative energies when we're in the same room together, and we can read body language better and understand each other better. I personally think that things work really well when you're trying to be creative in person. I also understand that with how busy some of the members are, if not all of the members, that sometimes not having to take 10 minutes to run to the center of town is really, really convenient. So
absolutely.
That's the only reason I'm torn. I would certainly, if the consensus was in person, I'd be happy to support that. This is the type of thing that I'll drag my butt into the truck and run to the center of town for an hour to do a meeting over. I was just there last night for 2.5 hours for a meeting I didn't want to be there for. So if I can do that, I can show up for this one too.
Is there I guess the Board of Selectmen are just doing a cell phone for their dual meeting, but is there an actual setup?
Yeah, there is. The kinks are still being slightly worked out of it because, well, some of the end users struggle with some of the tech, I think. There's a system that the town is purchased into called OWL, and Doug's familiar.
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt.
Yep, but that's the system that the town bought into, and we would presumably have access to that system. That's what the Board of Selectmen have been using. Yep. It worked pretty good the other night. It's just that it's supposed to run off of, I think it's actually supposed to work through the camera system in the Board of Select in the downstairs meeting room, maybe, and it wasn't. So they had just set it up on Chris's laptop, which still worked, but it wasn't as great as it could have been.
The owl that I'm familiar with is just a speaker and a camera in the center of the table that you plug into your
That's got to be
computer.
it. Yeah,
And
that's
then it
gotta be it.
goes around the room.
The owl part wasn't working, so they ended up just running the meeting through laptop. So we just have to get that figured out, which we can look into. Mike D'Amato, Tai Chi helps facilitate that. So we would just have to talk to Mike, book the device, presumably get a quick training session on it, and we would have the option to do hybrid.
For this group, it'll probably work because we're not a very large group. I've been in meetings at work where you got like 20 people in the room and you can't really hear anybody that's not at the table.
Yeah. Well, that's what it was the other night when public comments were coming from the Board of Selectmen's meeting. You couldn't hear them on the audio for Zoom.
Yeah.
But yeah, Meg and I were talking about this the other day, actually, about doing in person, and could we even notice meetings to be held off site other than at the town hall? We've got a really nice heated tack room here. We could do winter meetings here on farm if people were into that sort of thing. That's being very selfish, because then we still just get to walk across the street, and all of you guys that live at the north end of town have a 12-minute drive in front of you. But I'm just saying, we have options.
Power has its privileges, Luther.
Well, let's not get heady yet, Art.
I don't think there's a stipulation, because as long as it's in the agenda beforehand,
Right.
key is we're gonna
if it's properly noticed, the location and the address, and
we just need to be able to record it. I don't know if there's a stipulation to record audio.
Have to record.
Or, excuse me, video.
So even if here's the deal. If there's a commission member that's requesting remote access, then the commission needs to provide that remote access.
Yep.
It can be something as simple as a phone call. It doesn't have to be video. It can be strictly audio, but the commission is not compelled to provide virtual connectivity for the public.
Okay.
So
yeah, I thought video was probably optional, but
yeah, if the public wanted to attend, they could show up in person, but we don't have to provide a virtual option for the public.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all came up with the FOIA training that the town did this summer? Sorry, our clocks are loud. Yeah. So
they're a little fast.
Yeah,
that one, yeah, but that one's mechanical. It's hard to get the pendulum adjusted just perfectly.
At least you're on time.
The other one will go in a second. But yeah, so we're not compelled. Minutes are enough. We don't need a video. We don't need audio recordings, video recordings, or anything. Minutes are the only compulsory thing.
So it sounds like the solution would be, if everybody's good, meet in person. If a member requires that they want to call in or something, we could set something up just for those people, or just for those meetings. And if not, we're going to standard meet back in person sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, we could even do it as simply as just calling into a cell phone and putting it on speaker on the table in front of everybody. Like, it's that simple. So what's the feeling in the group here tonight? Would people support an in-person December meeting?
Yes, I would. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I can do that.
Let's shoot for that then. Cool. We'll see if we can get a room at the town hall, and if for some reason there's a scheduling conflict, we can host it here. So I know rooms can sometimes be a problem.
So it used to be, I think it was Cheryl Baker who did all that. Now it's Mike D'Amato. So you can get through him through either of his emails, ZEO or at Tai Chi or whatever. So
perfect.
I would get a hold of him as soon as possible to book that, because if it's only going to work in the one meeting room, that planning and zoning uses.
We're just gonna run it as a in-person meeting though. We're not even gonna do a virtual.
Okay, and let people call in.
Yeah.
No, like
Well, if somebody wants to call in, they can call
the
in.
only reason you support a call-in option is if
For a
the
member.
commission needs it. It's not for
Okay.
public, it's just for the commission members. If the public has something they want to talk about, they show up.
They got to come.
Yep.
Good enough.
So just like the good old days, Art.
Yeah, definitely the good old days.
Meeting's the 15th, right?
Yeah, it looks like it because the first is a Thursday.
Yeah,
so
because that's the third Thursday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We're here, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
here.
gone the 5th to the 9th. We'll be back the 8th.
All right. I'll reach out to Mike.
15th.
All right. So,
Making sure it's there, so I remember.
so anybody got anything else on the roundtable part?
Yeah. I went to a meeting last night. We may have, as a commission, may have not even been noticed of this, but I don't know how many of you are familiar with this sort of this Our Town, Our Future committee. They had a roundtable event last night at Knowlton Hall, seeking input from boards, commissions, and public about collecting high-level stuff. Here's the other clock for the update to the POCD. So I went to that, participated in that as both planning and zoning and ag commission. And we talked about all the same stuff we've talked about at all the other ones that I've ever been to. The difference with this one is Jeff Silversmith co-chaired it, which is wonderful. He's the chair of planning and zoning. So I'll say I have expressed concern over the years about unintended consequences of the OTOF group hosting these types of workshops and events, trying to solicit public input, because they're not a regulatory body. They have no authority in town, and it can inadvertently dilute public participation with the boards and commissions that actually can take action and achieve real things. And so to have the chair of planning and zoning, who's actually responsible for the POCD, to co-host the event was a really good step in the right direction, I think. So there's all the usual characters were there. So yeah, so we did that.
Was there a decent public turnout? Yesterday I was under the weather, so I couldn't go.
20 odd people. We had 5 breakout groups, and I think they all had 4 people, and maybe 1 or 2 had 5.
Okay.
So 20 something people. Yeah, you know, all the concerns raised are all the concerns we've been hearing. So diversifying funding for the town, affordability in housing, social services for youth, social services for older folks, all the same sort, getting younger people involved with boards and commissions, all the same concerns that have been around for a while. So anyway, that happened. Also, I don't know if anybody's going. Tomorrow is Farm Bureau is hosting Connecticut Ag Expo down at the AquaTurf, which seems like a weird place to do it, but that's where they're doing it. I'd intended to go, but I don't think I'm going to get there.
Where exactly is that again, Luther?
Southington.
Oh, way
That's
over.
that's like a wedding venue.
It is.
It is.
Yeah, I was there.
In a massive hall. Yeah.
They must have volunteered, you know, they must have offered it up for reduced cost or something like that. I don't know.
It's also kind of central in the state. They're always up and down the 91 corridor when they have those. They've been in Cromwell.
This is their first ever Ag Expo. Farm Bureau's putting it on. They're very excited about it, but I don't know.
They used to do an annual thing. I've been to a couple of them. There was one in Windsor. Yeah, but that was a while ago.
Is that in the evening, I presume?
No, it's all day.
Oh,
it's kind of like, most states do a state-sponsored farm show or farm days type of thing. Connecticut doesn't. And this is Farm Bureau taking a crack at it. So it's not state-sponsored, it's Farm Bureau sponsored.
okay.
I've always meant to go to the one in Pennsylvania, and it's a shame I've never been because I'm from Pennsylvania, but I hear it's crazy, and I've seen the videos on YouTube. If we're talking about the same thing, where they like bring tractors and combines, all this.
Yeah. I went to the New York Farm Show about 3 years ago. Dennis and I went up, did an overnight. It's huge, multiple buildings. It's on the New York State Fairgrounds in Syracuse. It's huge. All the major manufacturers, all the all the technology folks, all the seed vendors, chemical suppliers, all of it. It was actually really good. I got to talk to the guys that we buy our hay seeds from and stuff. It was a good show.
It runs from 10 to 4 tomorrow. It says the day-long event will showcase the latest in ag innovation, farm equipment, tractors, farm implements, seed and crop production products, farm supplies and services, and feature over 30 exhibitors.
Yeah, and they're doing things with Connecticut craft beer, Connecticut craft wine. They're doing tastings. They're doing stuff like that.
If you didn't pre-register, it's $35 a person.
So
lunch
anyway,
is not available for late registration.
Something to be aware of. The other thing, so we were getting rolling on our greenhouse project, and we did a formal groundbreaking event here on the farm on Tuesday. We had really good turnout. We had our partners from New York come down for it, and we had the dean from the College of Ag at UConn, associate dean from UConn. We had the commissioner of agriculture, Hurlburt, came out for it. We had Joan Nichols and Paul from the Farm Bureau come out for it. We had a couple of state senators come out for it. Joe Courtney's office sent a delegate to on his behalf. He was back in DC for voting, but he wants to come back personally and get a tour and see what we're doing here. Gosh.
Dan Champagne came.
Yeah, Dan Champagne is our state senator, and then Carol, I can't remember her name, but she's an adjacent district, but she's very pro-ag. She came. We had a really good collection of folks.
And then the 2 engineers.
We had our engineering team here and stuff. Yeah. So it was a good turnout, good event. We got some good photos and stuff like that, and we'll probably do some press release type stuff with that. But it's a good event. We're getting rolling. It's going to be a very big ag project for this town, for the state, really. I mean, in terms of scale, even for the state, it's a pretty good sized project. But for the town, it's probably the biggest ag project that it's had. So it's starting. So that honestly is my only foreseeable concern for having to lean on Doug as vice chair, is if there's ever times that there could be potential conflict because of our project coming up, then I'll be cautious with handing over the reins for that portion of a meeting or topic or something like that. But yeah, that's happening.
As far as the conflict goes, Luther, all you'd have to do is abstain from any voting that had anything to do with it. You feel free to.
But if one of our neighbors calls in a conflict and the Board of Selectmen asks the Ag Commission to get involved as mediators, I would have to look for help to the rest of the commission, I guess is what I'm saying.
True, yeah, that might have to happen, yeah.
So. It's not a problem if I talk.
Yeah.
We can manage it.
We can manage it.
This is a good
figure it out.
Oh, and Catherine Silversmith and Jeff Silversmith also attended as well.
They both came.
So
nice.
I invited Bill Folletti. He didn't show. But Jeff spoke with Joan about possibly getting her out to talk to planning and zoning about some harmony with zoning regs and farms and stuff like that. So there may be a workshop coming up where Joan facilitates a little bit of work being done on updating zoning regs. That's been talked about a little bit on the planning and zoning side of things. Yeah. I miss anything?
I think that's all the news on our end.
All right.
Anybody else have anything exciting happen? Nothing.
Nope. Still plodding along.
Yeah.
All right. So action items for next meeting. Luther is gonna Luther is gonna take over the reins tomorrow morning. I will get the minutes in tomorrow. I will be tending my resignation sometime before December 1st. And I just want everybody to know too that also there's a method to that madness, and feel free to reach out to me anytime and to find out what that is. But and Luther is going to talk to Joe D'Amato about getting set up for a Mike D'Amato.
Yeah.
Where did I get Joe from? Mike D'Amato for.
Because you're looking at Joe.
I wasn't even thinking of Joe Murphy. I don't know who I was like thinking. I might have been thinking of Joe Courtney. I don't know where that's Joe. Now, what was I saying? Going to talk to Mike D'Amato about getting set up for an in-person OWL meeting. Is it called OWL because it spins all the way around?
No, we're not going to do an OWL meeting. We're just going to do an in-person.
An in-person meeting. Okay. But is the thing called OWL because it spins around? Is that true?
Yeah.
Did I figure that out?
And it kind of looks like an owl.
Yeah, I wonder.
Like R2D2 maybe?
It's not that elegant. So it sounds like membership probably needs to be on next month's agenda if we're going to lose a member between now and then.
Yep. And you have Joe who's ready to step right up. And also want to mention that Danny Zychek was very interested in getting back involved when we started doing in-person meetings again. So, but he needs a phone call or a snail mail. He does not have a computer or a cell phone and refuses to do so. So,
okay.
But he was very interested. That was exactly what he told me when he resigned. If you guys ever get back to in-person meetings, I want to know because I want to get involved again. So, so that takes care of that. The next meeting is December 15th. We already discussed that. So can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll give you a motion to adjourn.
Meg, a second?
I'll second that.
So I want to tell you that this is my final meeting as chairman, and it has been a pleasure. And I will be seeing you guys around. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Come see me or call me. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay.
Thanks for all your work, Art. Over the years.
You're quite welcome. Quite welcome. It was an honor.
A big thanks to Sherry as well.
Yeah, very much.
Yep.
All right. We'll talk